what if I told you that some of the biggest things modern performers do today, Michael Jackson already did years ago? I'm talking about the dramatic stage entrances, the huge crowd control, the sharp dance breaks, the cinematic music videos, even the way artists dress, move, and make people lose their minds. And the crazy part is, most people don't even realize how much of today's pop world is still built on Michael's blueprint. When you watch artists like Beyoncé, Chris Brown, Usher, Bruno Mars, The Weeknd, or even some of these newer performers, you're not just watching their talent. A lot of what you're seeing has Michael Jackson's influence all over it.
If it wasn't for Michael Jackson, I probably wouldn't be singing.
And in this video, I want to break that down with you because this is bigger than just saying he was influential. No, Michael didn't just inspire performers. He changed the rules of performing itself. He made music feel bigger, darker, more dramatic, more emotional, and way more unforgettable. So if you've ever watched a live show or music video and thought, damn, this feels huge, there's a very good chance Michael Jackson is the reason why. And once you see it, you won't be able to unsee it. Let's start with the most obvious thing people copy from Michael Jackson, the way he moved. Before Michael, singers usually just stood on stage and sang. Maybe they walked around a little, but Michael treated the stage like a battlefield. Every step, every spin, every pause had a purpose. And the moment that changed, everything happened in 1983 during the Motown 25 television special. Michael walked on stage wearing a black jacket, black pants, white socks, and a single glittering glove. The music started and the crowd was already excited, but nobody was ready for what came next. Right in the middle of the performance, Michael slid backwards across the stage. That was the moonwalk. The audience completely lost their minds. People screamed, jumped out of their seats, and some of the biggest stars in the room looked shocked. In just a few seconds, Michael had created one of the most famous dance moments in music history. And from that moment on, dancing in pop music was never the same again. But here's something interesting. Michael didn't actually invent the moonwalk from scratch. A street dancer named Jeffrey Daniel had performed a similar move on the show Soul Train. Michael saw it, studied it, practiced it for hours, and then perfected it until it looked supernatural. That's what made Michael different. He didn't just copy something, he transformed it into something legendary. And the moonwalk wasn't the only move people still try to copy today. Think about the lightning-fast spins he used to do, stopping perfectly on the beat. Or the famous toe stand where he would rise up onto the tips of his shoes like gravity didn't exist. Even today, dancers all over the world try to recreate those moments. Artists like Usher, Chris Brown, and Justin Timberlake have openly admitted that their entire dance style was inspired by Michael. You can literally see it in the way they move on stage. But dancing was only one part of the story. Because Michael Jackson didn't just change how performers moved, he completely changed how music was seen. And that's where things get even more interesting. Before Michael Jackson, music videos were pretty simple. Usually it was just an artist singing in front of a camera with a few quick cuts and nothing special. Then in 1983, Michael released Thriller, and everything changed. This wasn't just a music video anymore. It was a 14-minute short film with a real story, actors, costumes, and one of the most famous dance scenes ever created. When those zombies started rising behind Michael and dancing in perfect sync, the whole world realized something new was happening. Music videos could be cinematic. They could feel like movies. After that, Michael kept raising the bar with videos like Bad, Smooth Criminal, and Remember the Time. Bigger sets, dramatic storytelling, choreography, everything felt larger than life. And today, you can still see that influence everywhere. Artists like Beyoncé and The Weeknd build entire stories around their music videos instead of just performing the song. That whole idea of turning a song into a visual experience started with Michael Jackson. But even with legendary videos and iconic dance moves, Michael still had another weapon that made him almost impossible to compete with, and that was his live performances. Before Michael Jackson, most concerts were pretty simple. An artist would walk on stage, sing their songs, maybe have a band behind them, and that was it. But when Michael Jackson performed live, it felt like something much bigger. It felt like a movie happening right in front of you. His shows were packed with perfectly synchronized dancers, dramatic lighting, explosions, massive stage setups, and moments designed to shock the crowd. Sometimes he would appear on stage and just stand there without moving while the audience screamed for minutes straight. He understood something most performers didn't. Controlling the crowd was part of the performance. Tours like the Bad Tour and the Dangerous Tour became some of the biggest shows the world had ever seen. And today, you can still see that exact formula everywhere. Artists like Beyoncé, Taylor Swift, and even huge K-pop groups build their concerts around massive choreography, stage effects, and dramatic moments. That whole idea of turning a concert into a giant spectacle didn't start recently. Michael Jackson was already doing it decades ago. But Michael didn't just change dancing, videos, and concerts. He also created something every modern superstar now tries to build, and that is a powerful signature image. Michael knew that if people could recognize you instantly, you become unforgettable. And that's exactly what he created. Think about it for a second. The single glittering glove, the black fedora hat tilted forward, the red Thriller jacket, the white socks with black loafers. Those weren't random fashion choices. They became symbols. The moment people saw those items, they immediately thought of Michael Jackson. And that kind of powerful image is something modern performers still chase today. Artists like Bruno Mars often perform with the same kind of fedora and smooth style.
Versace on the floor. If you got a light tonight.
The Weeknd built an entire visual identity around his look during the After Hours era. Even many pop stars today carefully design their outfits so fans instantly recognize them. Michael understood that being a superstar wasn't just about singing songs, it was about creating a visual identity the world could never forget. But even with the iconic look, the cinematic videos, and the legendary dance moves, Michael Jackson still had tricks that made people wonder if what they were seeing was even possible. But one of the biggest reasons people still talk about Michael Jackson today is because some of the things he did on stage looked almost impossible. One of the best examples is the famous lean from Smooth Criminal. In the video, Michael and his dancers leaned forward at a crazy angle, almost like gravity suddenly stopped working. When people first saw that, many thought it was some kind of camera trick, but the truth was actually more interesting. Michael and his team created a special shoe with a hidden mechanism that could lock into the stage floor. That allowed him to lean forward much further than a normal person could without falling. It was so unique that the design was even patented. That shows how far Michael was willing to go just to create one unforgettable moment. And this is something modern performers still try to do today. Create moments that make the audience say, wait, how did they just do that? Whether it's huge stage illusions, complex choreography, or shocking surprises during concerts, the goal is always the same: leave the crowd stunned. And that idea of building unforgettable moments on stage was something Michael Jackson mastered better than almost anyone. But what makes all of this even more interesting is the number of artists who openly admit that Michael Jackson is the reason they perform the way they do today. What makes Michael Jackson's influence even more powerful is that many of today's biggest performers don't even hide it. They openly admit that Michael Jackson was the inspiration. Usher has said many times that watching Michael perform is what made him want to become an entertainer in the first place.
To be an artist from Michael Jackson was more than just what he did as an entertainer, but also to who he influenced and who he advocated for.
Chris Brown built his entire performance style around fast choreography, sharp spins, and that same explosive energy Michael had on stage. Justin Timberlake has also talked about studying Michael's performances while growing up, paying attention to the way he moved, dressed, and controlled the stage. Even Beyoncé once said that seeing Michael Jackson perform when she was younger made her realize she wanted to be on stage one day. And when you look at today's pop world, you can clearly see the influence. The dance breaks, the dramatic stage entrances, the huge visual productions, and even the way performers interact with the crowd all feel familiar because Michael Jackson set that standard decades ago.
The reason a lot of us perform. So I'm the biggest fan.
In many ways, modern performers aren't just inspired by Michael Jackson, they're still studying him. And when you look at everything together, it becomes clear that Michael didn't just influence pop music. He completely rewrote the rules of what a performer could be. The way artists dance on stage, the way concerts are turned into giant spectacles, the way music videos feel like short films, even the way performers build a recognizable image. All of it traces back to things Michael was already doing decades ago, and that's why his impact feels so different from most artists. Usually trends disappear after a few years, but Michael's ideas never really left. They just kept evolving through new performers and new generations. Every time an artist moonwalks, throws a dramatic spin into a performance, or builds a huge cinematic music video, they're tapping into something Michael Jackson helped create. And the craziest part is that even today, many performers are still chasing the same level of magic he had on stage. So next time you watch your favorite artist perform and feel amazed by the show, remember this: many of those moments were first done by Michael Jackson. His influence didn't disappear, it became the blueprint. And even today, the biggest stars in the world are still performing in the shadow of the king of pop.